This is Bunny Bhoola reporting live from South Africa for the dope news called African Voices for the Road to Growth. The coronavirus has stopped us all in our paths, putting a pause on our daily day-to-day activities. One such activity is travel and tourism. The industry is at a standstill, but that does not mean innovation for survival is dead. With our show, we want to understand the journey of these trailblazing industry leaders, from their past journeys to the present situation, and of course, the roadmap to tomorrow's growth. So join me on this interesting journey as we move across the various African countries to learn, explore, and empower the voices of Africa as they set into survival mode to revive and reinvent to a whole new normal. Our dynamic trailblazer this morning is Natalie Tenzer-Silva from, as I said, Dana Tours, Maputo, Mozambique. Natalie is indeed a stalwart, as she is in the forefront of many interesting tourism projects. Welcome, Natalie. Natalie, please tell us something about yourself.
Hi, everybody. I have a DMC, Destination Management Company, an inbound tour operator based in Maputo. And we've been in operation since 2002. So we are already going for 17 years. And our only product is Mozambique. So we promote from the north to the south. We have an enormous country with over 2,500 kilometers of beautiful beaches. And we sell it to the world.
Okay, that's very interesting. I definitely know that you are one of the champions because you are at every trade show and you are the best ambassador for Mozambique. But can you tell me about the highlights of your travel business in the last 2 years pre-COVID?
So we sell to all the different sectors. We do MICE, which is to the group and incentive market. We sell honeymoons for FITs, and we do all the passenger cruise liners. We do handle all the port excursions for all the passenger cruise liners docking in Maputo. And then we have a whole corporate portfolio of services, whether it's business meetings, we transfer the guests, we do chauffeur drive, we do conferencing events, we do the whole spectrum. So we are a one-stop shop, and we are based in the destination, which is a unique selling point because we are in the destination. We can sort out any kind of hiccups that happen along the road. Our staff of 21 is completely bilingual. And we have most of the team have been here for many years, so they know how to handle the clients of all different kinds, whether it's an elderly couple visiting or a group of a huge group of 1,000 delegates, for example. They're very well experienced in that, in receiving those groups.
Natalie, you are indeed one of the forerunners in the tourism industry and a real ambassador for Mozambique. So let's look at the present. Let's look at what is the situation like in Maputo. How has COVID affected Maputo and Dana Tours?
As you know, tourism is the worst affected sector due to COVID. And we have even further constraints and challenges in Mozambique because Mozambique's already a bit of a hard sell destination and not as easily accessible as, say, South Africa. We do have international carriers flying in here, but it's a little bit of a hard sell as it is. And the wings have just been taken, have just been clipped. There's absolutely no tourism taking place at the moment. And it's not only in Maputo. Inhambane province is one of the worst affected. Most of the lodges are closed. And in Maputo, most hotels are currently closed. And we are in a state of emergency, so it's not a full lockdown. The state of emergency was declared for the month of May and has now been extended for the month of June. Halfway through the month, the president will reassess and either make those measures even more strict or relax them or maintain them as they are. And there's a lot happening. I mean, or shall I say not happening? There's no international flights at the moment, but we are allowed regional, domestic travel by road. So we have some flexibility, but in terms of tourists, there's no tourists at the moment.
And Natalie, tell me, are all areas of Mozambique open for travel by the locals, or are certain areas still in lockdown?
Well, it's not a full lockdown at all. We do have free movement. There are regulations. So beaches and parks are closed, but you're allowed to do exercise on the beach, or you're allowed to fish on the beach. So you just can't have a picnic on the beach. But there's still movement of people around. So domestic market is happening in a very, very small way. So people are driving to Ponta Douro and staying in homes there. But many of the lodges are closed, and you have to wear masks wherever you go. Public transport has been reduced by 2/3, and taxis are disinfected. Shopping malls spraying disinfected wherever you go into shops. Some limit the number of people in a store at a particular time. And yeah, it's work rotations. You can only have 1/3 of your staff working at any time. So there are limitations, but it's not a rigid lockdown. Our numbers are low, are very low. We've had no deaths, and numbers are only in the couple of hundreds cases.
Very positive news, because I think that gives your clients, they feel confident about coming through to a destination where there has been no deaths, if one has to compare the hotspots of the world. And of course, you are a unique destination on the East Coast.
Yeah.
All right, Natalie, now let's look at the future. I need you to look at your crystal ball and see, what do you predict? I know it's far-fetched, but there has to be some silver lining, or the light at the end of the tunnel. What do you think travel is going to be like post-COVID in Mozambique?
I think that the first sector to recover will be domestic self-drive. So people will be going with their families in a safe vehicle where they're not worried about contracting COVID. They will go to nearby lodges that are affordable. Imagine people have had salary cuts or retrenchments, so there won't be a lot of money going around. So a lot of it will be domestic self-drive. Once the airports open and the international and regional travel start, those people will have to come back for business. Obviously, it's going to be post the quarantine. They're not going to come for a 2-day trip and have to undergo 14 days of quarantine. So I think the next sector will be the business, to sign those deals, meet those people they couldn't meet for all these months, and from the regional areas. And then the third will be the international, and I think that is a way off. And we have to look first and foremost at our domestic market and stimulate that growth.
No, agreed. I think all countries are basically looking at the domestic market, and that's a very positive sign. Although the wheels will turn slowly, but it will happen. Oh, and what actions are you taking to attract the Mozambican domestic market for post-COVID?
So we are just going to be launching a product which is very early stages, but it's going to be a new concept here. We're going to brand it. We're going to get, hopefully, our Ministry of Tourism to back it, and it's going to be a huge drive, a very big drive that we're going into a joint venture with another company to promote domestic travel for a certain market. I don't really want to elaborate on it now, but it's very exciting. And it's, I think that it's really going to stimulate this market, because our aim is to get Mozambique back to business. And when I speak about getting back to business, we have, for example, I said we deal with all the passenger cruise liners that come in. So yes, the season supposedly will start in November this year. We are not holding our breath. We haven't had cancellations, but we are concerned that they may not come back. And all these ad hoc guides that we employ on an ad hoc basis have no work. There are no tourists currently here, and they rely largely on the cruise business. So our idea is to show Mozambique to Mozambicans at all levels, from people who are, on minimum wage to people who are at director level. And this whole joint venture we're going into is going to get Mozambique so that these guides are employed. The restaurants we take them to, they're getting the business. The hotels are getting bed nights. And we just stimulate from bottom up. Very excited about this new product.
No, it sounds very exciting. Natalie, I think COVID has given us a unique opportunity, an opportunity to let our locals, be proud of our tourism highlights and build confidence, because they will become the greatest ambassadors for the country. They will be the ones that will be promoting it to the national and international markets. Don't you think so?
Absolutely. And Bunny, it's interesting. Last year we did a conference for our revenue authority. They had a conference in Maputo. All their regional partners came, a few internationals, but mainly from the African continent. And we organized their fun day, which was a city tour of Maputo and lunch at a local restaurant across the bay, etc. And afterwards we met them. I was obviously with them throughout the day. And afterwards we just did a little post-mortem with the director. And he said, I saw parts of Maputo that I've never seen before. He was just amazed by what was in his own city. And he's lived here his whole life. And that's what we want to give. We want to give, we've got our food tour, we've got our art and cultural tour where you visit an artist in his home and you have lunch with him. We want to give those experiences to those people so that the guides from that level up to whether they're staying at this project we do, whether they're staying at a 5-star lodge or just getting to know their own city, we're stimulating the market and getting Mozambicans back to business.
Actually, it's very interesting because I think a very similar thing is going to be happening in South Africa. Now, what steps are you planning to encourage MICE groups and the large groups that you've handled? Because I think it's going to take a concerted effort now to start bringing them back to your region.
So in terms of MICE, we're going to be targeting smaller groups. So that when, our lodges here generally, aside from Maputo, if you're going to one of the islands, the lodges are relatively small. So we can't overcrowd. We're not going to be looking at getting massive groups initially. People are going to be very concerned about the social distancing. So we will be targeting and trying to get deals with the larger lodges offering less people but still trying to accommodate good rates at these lodges. And in terms of Maputo, we've got everybody, all the hotels now, even though whether they're closed or the ones that are partially open, are getting all their ducks in a row to be ready for post-COVID. So all their disinfectant protocols, their social distancing, restaurant layouts, etc. Also in terms of looking at international trade shows that are geared for mass marketing. That's on our thing. We've had a meeting last week with Ministry of Tourism to specifically attend one of the top shows internationally to try and attract mass market. And probably it would be something like IMEX or IBTM. In the past, we used to attend IBTM, but stopped for some years now, obviously because of cost things. But it will be we are preparing ourselves so that our office, our website, we've got a brand new website that's going to be launched very soon. It's just about to go live. So it's getting all our ducks in a row, making sure our staff are doing training during this period, and creating exciting packages for all the markets, actually, not only for mice, but mice is definitely included in that. So we just want to be ready when it comes and looking to high at the market to see how to bring them in.
Well, it sounds like you're very ready. And COVID has been good for your planning, and you've made maximum use of the lockdown period, because the world doesn't know what your offering is, and it's going to be very exciting when you launch your products to the market.
Yeah. Bunny, just to say that I think we're trying as best to hibernate, but still operating on a skeleton staff and getting everything ready. That's the point, that we all just kind of have to hibernate for a while, but still doing work in the back.
Absolutely. The admin work carries on. The challenge is that this is our passion, so it's in our blood. We cannot stop thinking, dreaming, eating, living tourism. And this is what makes it so important that we have good collaborations and good partnerships, because that is what's going to be the basis of the future in the new normal that we're going to be working in.
Yeah, I agree with you fully.
And in closing, Natalie, what's your message to the industry partners and prospective clients?
My message would be that Mozambique is waiting. We have the most unique country. We have, as I said, over 2,500 kilometers of largely virgin beaches. We have amazing cultural sites such as Ilha de Mozambique, Mozambique Island in the north of the country. We have beautiful safari parks like the Maputo Special Reserve, very close to Maputo, Gorongosa. So we've got a range of products. And Mozambique, perhaps people are going to be a bit wary of going to 3 destinations on a trip. They may want to just go to one place and visit the country, and we can offer everything in that one holiday. One-stop shop. You come to Mozambique, you can see all the highlights: beach, safari, culture, and have a beautiful holiday.
Wow. I cannot wait to come back to Mozambique. Yes. Your hospitality is indeed spectacular. In closing, as Natalie from Dana Tours has all the preps for the market post-COVID, the following message applies to her totally. Natalie, you're braver than you believe, and stronger than you seem, and smarter than you think. So good luck and stay safe. This is Bunny Bhoola from the Dope News on African Voices, The Road to Growth, signing off, and I do invite you to stay tuned for more such exciting episodes. Thank you. Bye.